Hi, I'm Cynthia Ng. You are tuning in to AWANI Review. One of the world's most loved musicals, The Sound of Music, is finally coming to Malaysia this December. And the person that we have to thank for bringing this production here is with me on the show today, Chantal Prudhomme, CEO of Base Entertainment Asia. It's great to have you here, and thank you so much for making time. I know you have been a very, very busy person.
Thank you for making time to meet with me. This is wonderful. Busy but happy, very happy to be here.
So less than a month away till
Yes.
The Sound of Music
Yes.
premieres in Istana Budaya on December 27th. There has been a lot of excitement, especially this is the first international musical production coming to Malaysia since the pandemic. Can you talk to us about the production and
Yes.
what can we expect?
Oh, lots can be expected, which is wonderful and exciting. Look, it is the first international musical coming. The pandemic was a big deal for us, particularly in live entertainment. So we had to completely pause for many years, 2 years. So when we were thinking, during the pandemic, as we were talking about when it ends, what should we start with? What should we, which show should we bring? And talking with the producers of The Sound of Music back in New York, we thought The Sound of Music is the best musical to bring. It's a classic, it's happy, it's about resilience, family, love, getting through difficulties by uniting and being together. So it was actually a very logical choice for us to bring The Sound of Music. So it started that way. But what's really special is because of the pandemic, a lot of big musicals had to completely shut down. So when it was decided that we would do The Sound of Music, we were given the opportunity to actually remount it and co-produce it from scratch, literally. So it was about bringing everyone to Asia and piecing it all back together, essentially. And taking this lovely production of Roger and Hammerstein all the way from New York, and the cast from Broadway, bring them here to our shores and present it here with Singapore, and then followed by Malaysia on the 27th of December.
In Malaysia, the last time we had a musical production of this scale was Phantom of the Opera in 2019, which also presented by your company.
Yes.
How is this Sound of Music different from what we had in 2019?
Yes, so Phantom is also another classic, and it was a wonderful production to bring here. It was hugely successful and well received by the Malaysians. The Sound of Music is another beautiful classic story, but the excitement on top of it is that we've casted local children to play the Von Trapp children in the show. So we've auditioned, so many children came. We had more than 800 people who signed up, with a good 600 to show up. We found 17 amazing Malaysian children that are going to be part of this musical. And that is the big difference, because normally a musical like Phantom comes with the entire cast from abroad. This time it's a combination of the cast from abroad, from New York, with our local children's performing with them. So that's going to be absolutely magical.
That's exciting. And also, I might add, a very bold move, because to have a local production made of, with kids, and to put them in the mix with your professionals, Broadway professionals from New York. Talk to us about that process, the selection, the audition, and how did you find the best fit for the roles?
Yes, well, it's a long process. It also comes from the relationship that we have with the producers. They trust us. They trust that we will deliver great productions and we will do them right by, the title, we'll honor the title of the IPs. But the process is quite a long process. We first have to, with the producers in New York, we need to send their creative teams. We had the director, the choreographer, and the musical director. They all came here to Asia. We sent out communication everywhere that we were opening these auditions, and we were looking for 6 of the roles from the tiny little Gretel, right? So the 6 children, they have to sing, they have to dance, they have to act, and they have to fit a certain height, because it has to sort of like have that look, right? So we always say the triple threats, plus they have to fit in a certain physical height. So for me, just to say, I had no doubt all along that I could find the talent. I've been in Asia for 20 years. I've been in the entertainment industry for as long as that. I mean, prior to that, I was in New York, so I knew being here, and having been here for so long, knowing what the producers were looking for, that we had a great opportunity to really make our local talent shine.
Yeah.
I've had no doubt that we had local talent, but not as much as what I discovered.
And this is the beginning of more to come.
Yes,
and I understand that based Entertainment Asia, there are plans to set up a Broadway Academy in Malaysia.
Right.
Talk to us about that.
Yeah, that's right. So during the process of the auditions, as we saw the turnout and how many children showed up for the auditions, we came to realize that a lot of these kids here actually didn't have any formal training. From a lack of opportunities, probably locations where they live and whatnot. And we thought to ourselves, well, we don't want to just stop at auditioning children for one production. We want to continue doing that. So there will be many other productions in the future coming where we will do that again. But we want to be able to offer the children all of the classes and the training that they should be able to access to in their home country. So our plan is to create an academy, which is very much in the making. I talked about it a few months ago when we were here for the auditions. And so we've already we have a curriculum in place. We have classes in place. We're going to start launching them in the beginning of the year, and we're going to grow that into a full academy eventually. So the goal with these classes will be to train children to know how to submit an audition, sort of an audition tape, or how to present yourself when there are auditions abroad and locally. What sort of classes they need to do, singing and dancing and acting. So we'll offer specialized workshops and classes with eventually being able to grow it into a full academy, and offering as well scholarships with other associations abroad. So we at the moment creating all of these relationships so we can send our children to go and study abroad as well as take classes locally, with the hope that then it will equip them.
So really
with more
building that
opportunities.
ecosystem from the
Yes,
ground up,
yes.
which I feel personally has been a bit lacking in Malaysia. We do have performing arts, but to have a very concerted effort to build that talent pipeline from a very young age.
Yes.
This is something I think that's close to your heart, Chantal, just building talent, because Malaysia, we're not lacking of talents, I think.
Yeah.
What does it take then for Malaysia to be to take performing arts, musicals like this to the next level? Because when you talk to people, producers, our neighbors tend to be the more preferred destination when it comes to premiering or bringing large-scale musical productions. So what are your thoughts here when you look at the Malaysian ecosystem? What can we do better?
Look, I think it's not from a lack of being interested in entertainment and art. I think, having spent so much time here in Malaysia, people are very talented. There's a lot of talent. People love music and entertainment. I think, for us, particularly with the musicals that we have, one of the challenges it's to find the right theater, to find the right home. So that's one thing that's a bit of a challenge when we come to a city like KL. So hopefully in the future we'll have more opportunities to have other venues available to receive the big Broadway musicals. But it's accessibility as well in terms of what I just mentioned to you. It's key. The more we bring, the more the culture will embrace the shows that we bring here. And then we create this sort of this culture that will know that theater is there and it's available, and the performing arts are available to them, not just once a year, but multiple times a year, local and international. I think there's definitely an appetite here to have more. So I hope that that will change and be more accessible for us in the future.
So I understand that The Sound of Music, going back to the production, you will be bringing the same set from Singapore to Malaysia, which I imagine can't be an easy feat, especially the amount of equipments that you have to bring
Yes.
over, and to have the exact same vibe and also production quality. Talk to us about some of the challenges of bringing that scale of an event to a different country.
Yes, absolutely. The beauty of going from Singapore to Malaysia is that we can go by ground, which does help. But indeed, we have to pack everything and fit everything into trucks and ship everything over and rebuild everything again in a new theater with a new size, new space. So these are the challenges that we have. But we've got an amazing team that is the experts at putting that together. So, but in between our last day in Singapore and here in Malaysia will be about a week by when it'll be transferred here, remounted, and then we'll start our dress rehearsal and our previews before we open on the 27th. One thing I want to say about this particular production is it looks incredible, and I'm actually quoting from the director, Jack O'Brien. He was asked the question, how different is it from the other Sound of Music that I've toured in the past? Because Sound Music has been in a region in the past. This particular production, he said it's like tearing off the old varnish from a classic show and breathing a new breath of fresh air into this new set. So when you look at it, it's vibrant, the set are colorful, there are moving pieces that we didn't have before. The direction of the actual show is very natural, which works really well with having our local children, because the local children can have their personalities shine through as opposed to being too rigid. And those are the changes that you'll see, and I think it'll be very well embraced here in Malaysia with having the local kids on the show.
Certainly, I'm sure there'll be a lot of excitement, especially to watch Malaysians be in such a international musical. Can you also talk to us a bit about the cast? Because when I tell my friends, hey, I'm interviewing Chantal, who's bringing Sound of Music, and one of the first questions that they tend to usually ask is, is it like a local rendition of the Sound of Music? But it's not.
No.
Yeah,
it's not. So all the main cast, the adults, are all from the US. They're straight from Broadway. They are our top of the class performers from the world over. So we've got all of them coming to Malaysia, and we've got just the local children that are then integrated into this beautiful magical cast. And I have to say, I say magical, and I've said the word a few times because it is truly magical to see this beautiful, mature, well-trained American cast and the local kids sort of coming together. There's a chemistry and there's something special and unique that comes out every night. So yes, indeed, we're having all of them, and the creative team as well, director, choreographer, everyone. And then also, let's not forget that we supplement all of that with our local crew. Nothing happens without the lovely people that are behind the scenes making it happen. So it's important for us also to highlight that we come in and we employ the local crew to work with our international crew as well, that they are also traveling with the international cast.
Having experience with Phantom of the Opera in Malaysia, can you talk to us, what is the biggest difference between Malaysia and international markets when it comes to audience expectations of a production like this?
I think nowadays, no matter where you go, particularly here in Malaysia as well, the expectations are that they want to see what you would see on the West End or on Broadway. With social, everything is on social now. People know what it should look like. They may have seen it in the past, so I know a friend who's seen it. The expectations are very high. And that is what we pride ourselves with. We deliver the international feel, when you come to one of our shows, it's as good as sitting somewhere on Broadway or the West End. That is what we want to deliver. And I think that's where the expectations are. So it's not licensing a show and creating it, on a smaller scale. We really want to give everything for the audience, and I believe that's the expectations that the Malaysians would have as well here.
And so far for Malaysia, most of our productions, or for musicals at least, have been held in Istana Budaya, which is at this point in time our only location to have such a show. And I think in the future, for us to grow further, how do you see Malaysia should diversify or even like add more locations for such a big scale production?
No, absolutely. That's what I mentioned earlier. I think being able to have access to maybe a larger theater would be wonderful. The Istana Budaya is beautiful theater and it's got its beautiful charm, but Malaysia could definitely do with a theater that would be of maybe a bigger size, or another theater. One is not enough. And I think that hopefully in the near future we will see that, so that we can then adapt our big productions and continue to bring them here in Malaysia in the future.
So set adaptation is probably one of the challenges. The set adaptation?
Yeah, well, it's not so much set. Yes, it is set adaptation if you want to look at it that way, because there will be venues that are maybe large enough here, but they won't be set up so that we can put all of our items from our set. There's no fly bars, we cannot hang from the ceiling, or they won't take enough weight. So these are the sort of challenges we'll have. When you bring a musical, you need to be able to go to a place that has access to all of that. And that's what's missing in some of the locations that we have here. So hopefully in the future that will change. And at the same time, production's also adapting.
Right.
Years ago, traveling with these big shows was even a bigger, mammoth task. Yeah. And now they are becoming, with the technology, equipment being lighter and more efficient, we are able to be faster, mount quicker, and be able to bring all of those big shows because of that. But definitely we'd like to see more theaters, or access to bigger theaters in Malaysia would help.
Definitely. So I think the demand and appetite is there, especially after what we've gone through in the past 2 years. You mentioned early on in this show it wasn't easy. Maybe you can share with us some of the lessons that you have learned, and in terms of having a business model that is more resilient, because often when you talk about production, they tend to fail because it's the balance between art and commerce, creativity and commercial viability. As someone that look at all those aspects, can you talk to us about your experience?
Well, that's why, definitely. I mean, during the pandemic, it was definitely a challenge for us. I mean, being in live entertainment, there were moments we were very scared. But one thing that we realize now that it's over and it's behind us, if you think of live entertainment, live theater, it's as old as humankind. Humans always perform, people always perform, and it's always going to be there. So we know that people need that connection, they need to come and experience live entertainment. What we do that's the reason why in our case we are very careful with the shows that we pick, which one we bring, for which audience are we talking to, who are we speaking to. So we're very selective in the shows that we bring. We usually do multiple markets, so it helps with us, from a financial point of view, to be able to grow our business. And so all of these elements have a big saying into what we choose, how it's going to be delivered. I believe that, for us during the pandemic, we've got other divisions that are part of our company that will do more non-live entertainment at times. We're doing other things with other IPs that we own. So it's that balance, but always in the entertainment. And for sure, now that the pandemic is behind us, live has again taken the lead in our group. And I think we're busier now than we were before the pandemic. So it's a good sign.
So Singapore was that you had Sound of Music still running in Singapore. Can you talk to us about the reception there, and what kind of expectations do you have for Malaysia?
Yes, the Sound of Music in Singapore being the first international musical after the pandemic, we were quite anxious and excited to see how people will respond. And I'm happy to say now that we're in season that the response is even greater than our expectations, really. So we're very pleased with that. I believe it'll be the same with Malaysia. I think very soon, as we speak, our local children are in rehearsals and getting ready. And I think that, once everybody knows the schedule of these children and that, everything is out fully, I think we'll have a great response. I have no doubt. I look forward to having the season here. Plus, don't forget, it's across the end of the year holiday time where people have that sort of feeling and spirit, and I think it should attract quite a big audience to come and see it.
Well, not to mention that the sound of music is something that's close to a lot of us. Julie Andrews singing Do Re Mi is probably one of my first memory as a child, learning a song, and it's so catchy. I do wonder, what are some of your earliest memories of Sound of Music, and what are your favorite moments?
Same as you, although I'm older than you. And I mean, The Sound of Music, the movie came out in 1965. It's been around for ages, and every generation that I speak to, from my kids who are in their teens to grandparents, they all know Julie Andrews, they all know The Sound of Music, everybody knows the music. It's sort of a classic. And so for me, my earliest memory would be the movie with Julie Andrews, one of my first and most cherished movies that I've seen. And of course, growing up, and now with my children, introducing the movie to them, and seeing the younger audiences sort of like, welcoming the movie, the musical as well. In our audience in Singapore, we have kids that are tiny, 4 or 5 years old, and they sing along, they know the music, so it's heartwarming to watch.
Yes.
And I think it's going to be the same in Malaysia. I expect to see that sort of response.
Okay.
Yes.
Then talk to us then about Base Entertainment Asia. I know your business primarily is focused in Singapore, a bit of Malaysia. What are your next plans? Would you be able to let us know, besides the Broadway Academy that you're planning for, what else can we expect from your company?
Look, our company will continue to grow. It's just a natural sort of next step for us. We've been doing this for quite some time now, focusing for the last, I would say, 11, 12 years, full time, in making sure that these big Broadway musicals or Western musicals come here to Asia. So it's the continuation of that. So more great productions, new territories that we'll look into, that we are growing into Asia, other type of entertainment, like I mentioned to you briefly earlier, television, animation. We just keep on growing, our plate. I've got a background in television as well as live content. So, and my team and I, are looking to the next 5 years will be quite interesting. Watch this space.
Definitely. And I think Malaysians are excited, especially with this Sound of Music coming up in December. It's premiering on December 27th. Now, just a couple of a few minutes left that we have here. Maybe you can talk to us about, for those who are watching and wanting to check out the Sound of Music, how can they do so, and what is your message to the Malaysian audience?
About the Sound of Music, you should all come and watch it. Honestly, just to see your own local actors, children in the show is just very special and unique. We're on sale, on ticket charge. You can buy your tickets. Look, it's not to be missed. It's a unique, only 3 weeks. We're only here for 3 weeks until the 15th of January. So grab your tickets. That's what I want to say to all the Malaysians, because the more support we get from the audience, the more people we get to come and see our shows, the more we can bring to the country, right? It's two ways.
Yeah.
We can't continue doing it without the support of the audience. So it's important. And for us, what I can assure you is we will deliver something that's incredible, of an amazing quality. I need to mention to you that, I've been working with amazing producer, Simone Jeanette from Broadway International Group in New York, and her partner. We've been working very closely together. So it doesn't get any better than that. We're working directly with the rights owners and the producers. So we will definitely deliver something amazing. So now all we need is the audience to come and watch it.
And are you already planning for the next musical in Malaysia?
Yes, and we've got a lot more to announce. Absolutely. We're planning for the next one. We have to. We have to plan 2-3 years in advance for these productions. That's why one challenge I didn't mention to you was with the pandemic, we had to stop and we didn't know when we would start again. And all of a sudden, whoop, we could start. But for us, it's not just you wake up overnight and tomorrow you have a big production, you know, in a theater. So it was quite a big piece, you know, it's like a big puzzle with the pieces that are moving. So during the pandemic, we kept moving the pieces and getting ready because we knew it would start. But now that we are fully on everywhere pretty much, I've already programmed all the way to 2025.
Wow.
So more to come.
Exciting. And coming back with full force.
Yes, full force,
All right.
absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Chantal, for your time, and we're really looking forward to The Sound of Music premiering on December 27 in Istana Budaya. Thank you so much, Chantal, for your time.
Thank you
and
for
best of luck
having
with
me.
the musical.
Thank you very much, and we look forward to having you at the
Of
musical.
course.
Thank you.